How you doing, James Margie here at J-Tech, and we're going to do a little instructional video on how to do refrigerant draw or refrigerant charge. We're going to recycle it into the machine, then put it back in, check the charge proper charge, and see how the system's functioning. So first thing you do is obviously pull your vehicle inside. You got a high and a low side. You got your two hoses. Red's going to be your high, blue's going to be your low. In this particular vehicle, blue's going to be right up here on front. Just simple quick disconnect, as you were. That's the high side. So that's tight. So back to the sides back here. That's the motion blade. So, now we got the hoses hooked up. The valves, though, are still closed, so I haven't opened those yet. One of the more important things you need to check on, somewhere in this vicinity, usually right on this front portion of the vehicle, is going to be a label. First, it's going to tell you what type of refrigerant that you're using, which is extremely important. Mainly because you don't want to mix refrigerants. So if this is the, as this one label says, it's a R134A AC refrigerant. And on this one, also on the label, it will also tell you what your factory charge is. So how much the single unit, this one here is 24 ounces, meaning it's a single AC system through the dash. If it was a dual unit, meaning a rear cooler for the rear passengers, it would have a 34 ounce system. Also, it's this label here nicely also tells you how much compressor oil you get into your air conditioning compressor, which is located right here. And this compressor on the 3.7 liter, 4.7 liter, and 5.7 liter. This is a 3.7 liter. Has the ND8 for 150 cc's. So that would be how much oil is in your compressor, which will possibly come into effect depending on how much we draw it on the machine. All right, so first step on the machine is obviously you got the hoses hooked up. Next step, obviously with that one, we plug it into the wall. We're going to just do the power cable. You turn the power button on. Let it do a self-check. Alright, right here there's an internal tank on here. And on this internal tank, it's on a small scale. So it tells you how many pounds and ounces. This one here is a little on the low side, and it asks if you want to do a tank refill. So you can get another tank of refrigerant, and this again is an R134. And then you could then fill the tank, add some refrigerant to it, but because we're going to pull the refrigerant from the vehicle, put it in here, we should be in the OK area. So we're just going to start and say no. So now we can go and select a function. What we are going to want to do is open up both these valves. First I'm going to go and open up the actual connectors on here, just by turning them clockwise. Now that system's open up. Yeah, we can go ahead and on this currently, the low side has 90 psi, and the high side has just under 100, probably at that 90 psi also, or 90-95 psi. We are just going to open these both up. See, just a little bit, but it jumps right back. So the function that we're going to do, and we can monitor these gauges while we do it, is going to be recovery. Now this can take some time. So as this thing recovers the refrigerant, it's going to tell you how much refrigerant is being recovered. Also, during the recovery process, when we're talking on the compressor oil, there's a bottle right down here, and as you can see, this one here's already got a bunch of waste oil in it. You're never going to want to reuse your oil, but you can tell this one here has just about 7 ounces in it, just above 7 ounces. So we're going to remember that's where that line is. So that way anything above that we know came out of the system that we would then have to replenish. So that way it has the proper amount. But you do have to be careful not to put in too much, because that can definitely damage the system. so it can be very difficult to tell how much to do. So we're going to hit the recovery and start from there. So now it's first going to go through the process. It's pretty much a self process. You don't want to touch the machine while you're doing, so I have my hand on it, which is a bad thing because it messes up that scale on the measurement. So now it's pretty much just sit and wait. So once you do, you select your function. It does a real quick self-check again and self-cleaning of all the lines, and then it starts the recovery and process. So now it's obviously going 2 ounces. So now it's just to sit, wait, and see. So we'll pause it and then come back to you once it's completed. So now the recovery went through, and then it went into a recovery in progress with the time remaining for a 5 minute. So the pressure's dropped down to 0, and at this point, it's just sucked all the refrigerant it needs to, and it's starting to create the vacuum. It's not doing the vacuum check, that's a different process, but it is doing its own vacuum. So it's down to about 29 inches of mercury right now so far on the low side. The high side's not, it's just staying at 0. There's a mercury right now and I can't quite tell what it is. So it recovered a full 4 ounces. So this one here is about 20 ounces low. So now it's clearing the process, gives it maybe about, gives an extra 5, 1 extra ounce. So one of the next processes, if we wanted to recharge this, we're going to definitely need to fill this up higher. So that way we can get the 24 ounces into the vehicle. Right now it's in the draining of oil. Once that draining of oil is finished, we're going to go and check the actual vacuum. So we're going to apply a vacuum on it. We'll do it for at least 5 minutes. That's definitely the minimum you want to go. You can definitely go longer if you want to. Alright, now check the oil bottle. So this one, 6 ounces of refrigerant was pulled out. The oil level bottle really didn't pull out any extra oil. So it's still just above the 7. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. It could be a good thing that it stayed inside the compressor or throughout the system. Bad thing could be, it could be dry. So that's something you're really hard to tell at this point. So now we're going to go and create the vacuum. So now we're going to select the function, vacuum, check the pressures right quick. And we are going to just bring it down to the 5 minutes here, just to make it a little easier. Right there, and we will hit start. The machines are pretty easy. They are fairly self-explanatory, and the old ones give you good information right there on the little data screen. The older ways, using the old gauges, add some more mathematics into it, but still fairly simple. But again, you need to add some more training into that one. So now we're going to let this create the vacuum on for 5 minutes, for the next 4 minutes, and then we'll come back to you right about there. But we're going to stand here, we're going to watch the inches of mercury. Again, still right around that 28 to 29. And we're just going to monitor that for the next 4 minutes, so we'll be back. Alright, so the vacuum completed its little 5 minute vacuum, and it shows that it's still holding 29 inches of mercury. So it shows that it's got a good vacuum. So now it says press any key, so hit the start button. So now it still shows that it has that 1 pound. So it'll have 12 ounces in it, or 6 ounces of refrigerant that we pulled from the Jeep. Now in here, which equals 16 ounces, which equals a pound. Still saying that it's a lower refrigerant filled tank, so we're going to stop this process for now, and we'll get a machine that's full, and then we'll carry on and come back to the video in a little bit. Alright, how you doing? We're going to go now, next step, and recharge fill the tank inside of here, off of this one here. As you can see, there's a jug of R134A. We've attached the adapter fitting to it. So now we're going to fill the tanks. We're going to say yes. So now it says connect source tank, i.e. the tank right here, to the low side service hose. Open the low side panel valve to start beginning. Okay, so now we're going to connect it to the hose down to the valve. The valve here. If I can get it on, there we go. I'm going to open up the valve by technically closing the valve. And now we're going to leave the tank on. So we'll go to here, say connect source tank. So yes, we should open up the valve on the tank. There it goes, fills the line. and open up the left side, or low side panel valve. So we'll open and we'll press start. And now it's going to transfer. It'll tell us how much to transfer. We're going to need at least 2 pounds in here, so that way I can fill up the vehicle and then it maintains some extra inside of here. So we'll pause once it comes back. So that'll be an actual about 3 pounds if I add 2 or 3. See how much it gives us, and we'll go from there. So we'll be back in a minute once it starts its process. Okay, now that we got a little bit of refrigerant in it, I added another pound out of that bottle. So we'll see if we can get that 2 ounces or 2 pounds, get the 24 ounces in here. If not, we'll get it close to see if it at least improves the system. Because prior to it, it really didn't cool it off unless it was a torrential downpour of rain and you had a lot of water coming into it too. So we're going to do a charge. So charge the unit with, let's see if it does the 2 pounds that's required to do. We're going to open up the low side. We've only done it, I've disconnected the high side off of here. So that way we don't overpressure anything. We're going to leave the valve shut. And we're going to just go ahead and leave it like that. Otherwise, to adjust, you can do up or down on the arrows. We're not going to need it. Press start and see if it does it. So now at this point, we don't disturb the machine. We'll do a count up on how far it goes, and we'll be right back. And once this gets closer to the end. Right now, the charge is complete. We got all 2 pounds into it. So now it's this press start to equalize the hose. What that's going to do is shut off the pump to it. Empty any of the refrigerant out of the hose, sucking it back in, but so that way we don't release any into the atmosphere. So we'll go ahead and press the start button, let it do its thing, disconnect high side hose, and open panel vane, which we got it disconnected there. So open that. So it required us to, once it reached about 40 psi, which is where this one was going to settle out at, wait around for a minute or so. We disconnected the high side of the hoses. So now we want to clear the hoses. We can select yes, and it should be clearing the hoses. So now it's going to suck any refrigerant from those hoses up into it. These valves are in off, so nothing can evacuate from them. But out of the machine, we got a little storage cord here. So connect it up to the storage cord. So that way it's stored properly, wrapped up, so that way it's not damaged. And clearing hoses, so now we'll just let it wait. Both gauges are on 0 psi. So now we got the vehicle running. At the max AC, we got a little bit of a thermostat inside of it. So it's going down to 62, which is not cold enough. So we will have to do some troubleshooting further on into the investigate the system of what's wrong with it. That'll be a whole separate issue in a separate video. So I hope at least it explained how to do a slight chart or recovery and recycle and recharge of it. So if you got any comments, please leave below. Thank you very much.